I wholly reject the term people of color and think it never should have emerged as a publicly accepted term. When I hear it, it sounds like a shallow respect term that shies away from concise, direct language.
Don't you hate it when people say colored or Negro and not black?
The term itself is widely used as something far closer to an exclusionary term, as opposed to an inclusive term, which is what the people that use it often feel when they use it. But I'm not a fan of it. It overgeneralizes and centers around a particular ethnic group and/or identity, Europeans. Yes, me and that Samoan person are both people of color, but we are clearly different things, so why force us under the same label? People of color should simply be substituted with non-white, since that's basically what we're saying when we use it, am I wrong? There's also BIPOC, maybe BIPOC, I'm not sure. Either way, it stands for Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. Besides the POC issues attached to the last three letters, this acronym, just like the last one, runs into the same problems. And then it becomes a marginalization battle. Who has or will suffer enough to have their ethnic group separated from the treacherous POC umbrella? How long will it be until there's a W or even a K in this acronym? I don't want the recognition of someone's racial or ethnic identity to only occur after they've passed a certain oppression test. That's weird. Also, and do not misinterpret this, where do we draw the line? Is an ethnically Japanese person a person of color? What about a Filipino person? If you're indigenous or Native American, are you a person of color? What if you then have kids with a white person of Irish descent? Are the kids colored? What happens if you're a very light-skinned Brazilian? Who gets to decide if someone is sufficiently colored? A lot of people will tell you that if you're on the fence in terms of color, then you should look to your privilege to decide if you are sufficient BIPOC. Yeah, I know, privilege. But just like the colored enough question, who has the measuring stick for this privilege? Let's make this practical. Was Michael Jackson easier or harder to label as BIPOC due to his immense wealth? Yeah, I got you with that one, didn't I? Yeah, you want a picture of Michael Jackson, don't you? But you know what Michael Jackson looks like. BIPOC or not BIPOC? Do his riches affect his BIPOC level? You tell me. African American, I think, is better than BIPOC, and it even grants the specific recognition I discussed in the Why Do We Still Call Them Indians video. However, African American puts the lay Black American in this category of recent immigrants, alongside Mexican American or Asian American, for instance, when in reality the average Black American's ancestors have lived and toiled on American soil for 6 to 8 generations. Also, when I say African American, your mind probably goes here to the average Americanized Black person. But saying African American could also refer to this Ugandan man once he immigrates to American soil. For the sake of distinction, I find that the term Black American is more appropriate. I am an American that happens to be of sub-Saharan African descent. No, I do not think this label ignores my African bloodline. Assigning the African to African American implies that I have recently come to America, as previously stated, but it also implies that my regular cultural activity is of some distinct African culture, when in reality is much more closely related to Black culture, a subculture that falls under American culture. Some people will tell you that these terms are a prime example of going so far left that you eventually come full circle and go right, but I don't think that's the proper discourse here. Although there is something to be said about how dangerously close people of color is to colored people. Like if you read every piece of American history up to this point and really wanted to be on what you think is the right side of history, wouldn't you shy away from language like that? Colored? Wouldn't you sprint from that? Man, normalize asking people to their face, what are you? I do it all the time. They'll give me a confused look. What do you mean? Where do your people come from? Or if they look mixed black and white, I'll ask them, which parent is the Black parent? If you know, you know. You know what I'm talking about. If you're familiar with this, especially that last example, you know what I'm talking about. No, I don't think people who use POC, BIPOC, I hate that term, BIPOC, or African American are bad or have bad intentions. But don't you think there's a better way to refer to distinct groups of people? Some people will go out of their way to fix their mouths properly and really enunciate that African American, BIPOC. Man, relax. It's okay, I promise. I know I sound like I'm speaking for everyone. I'm not. But I think this people of color thing needs to go. And it is, in my view, trying too hard to be correct. Stop it.